Um, it's weird when I start this by myself. My man today, he decided to, take a day off, even though we always take a lot of days off. It is what it is. It is what it is. Now, he got some stuff going now. I told him I was going to do this after I did it. That's my man's though. So I just, but I felt like I wanted to get something out. And we had a lot of boxing this weekend. Even today, we have boxing. On Sunday, we got the Tszyu for fights coming on, but we're not here to talk about it. Let's just go right into it. Let's talk about Errol Spence and the fact that his career is done. Let's get the violins out. It is sad, but it is something that, if you really pay attention to the sport, you realize that much earlier than this fight actually took place, right? So he fought Tszyu over the weekend. And I would say early on in that fight, guys, it looked like they was trading rounds. I was actually, thinking maybe Spence might do something because not for nothing he is investing into the body, which is always a good game plan for any fighter to do, is invest into the body of your opponent. And, I thought maybe if the fight goes on to the later rounds, that would definitely, pay dividends to put it in some early body work. And they traded rounds early. It was clearly a Errol Spence round, and the next round it would clearly be a Tszyu round. But what I also noticed is how shaky Errol Spence's legs looked, and I think everybody noticed it. It was bad. He looked like, you know what? It is what it is. He looked like he didn't need to be in there. He looked like he didn't need to be in there, and he looked like maybe he was still recovering from the beating from Terrence Crawford. That's how shaky his legs looked. He did not look stable at all in his fight. He definitely showed grit and heart. He threw punches, but you can see right off the back he wasn't the same Earl Spence of old. And I didn't really expect him to. He had a lot of time out the ring, about 3 years. About 3 years, and on this channel, I believe me and Dane said the same thing. He's been out of the game so long, he should just stay out. There wasn't a slight. We wasn't trying to be mean or rude or shit on Earl Spence fans. No, you've been out this long. You should probably just stay out, because if you really want to make a comeback, you got to make a comeback earlier than that. If you want people to forget about what happened in that fight with Terrence Crawford, the biggest fight of your life, you should have came back earlier. And he didn't do that. And it just shows that some boxers, when they take their first loss, like a real beating, like a knockout loss, some fighters never come back the same. And Earl Spence just happened to be one of those fighters. And I know you're saying, oh, maybe I'm being harsh. Look at Roy Jones. Look at Roy Jones when he first got stopped by the guy who I cannot stand. I don't even want to say his name. And I hate his face. I hate his face. Tarver. Yes, Tarver. When Tarver first stopped Roy Jones, Roy Jones came back. He was really never the same. He never was the same. He couldn't take a punch well, and that just happens to some fighters. You take your first knockout loss, and after that, you don't come back the same. But again, Earl Spence, he showed grit, he showed heart, but I think it's safe to say that his career is done. If he really wanted to do something, he should have came back earlier. And not for nothing, I think it was maybe last year, where he got in the ring, and he got in the ring with Fandora, and he was looking, he wasn't in training camp, so you could see he had a little weight on him. I was scared for him. I was like, if you come back, all that talk about I don't need no warm-up fight. No, my man, you need a warm-up fight. You definitely need a warm-up fight. And then what happens? He didn't come back until the following year. You know, they made it seem like he was going to come back and fight Fandora, which wasn't a good move. Maybe his team actually told him, yeah, that's not the move to do. He listened, but then he took so much time off still after that. So, you know, hey, it is what it is. You know, Earl Spence will, you know, never he won't be forgotten. We know, you know, the work that he put in, the work that he did, the entertainment. His style of fighting was always entertaining to watch. But is that time to hang it up? And you know, not for nothing, you know, Terrence Crawford, he gave Earl Spence. Well, Terrence Crawford got slack from Earl Spence fan for something that he said a while back, and it was something to the reference where somebody asked him, "Do you think Earl Spence is a great fighter?" And the way Terrence Crawford responded, a lot of people didn't like. You know, I think he said no. Um, you know, because you know he stayed in the same division of, and you know he lost the biggest fight, and you know he hasn't done anything after that. I don't remember his exact response.
Do you not think Spence will be in the Hall of Fame?
Right now? No, how? He fought in one division. He had
Yeah,
the
but he
WBC,
didn't 5-on-4.
WBA,
He wasn't
IDF.
undisputed. He
No,
wasn't
no,
undisputed.
he wasn't. No, what I'm saying is they already called him a weight bully. He beat Kell Brook coming off of a loss, an eye injury. He beat Sean Porter.
In all fairness, he had to go over there to get that.
You know what I mean? That's a good win. I'm still a fan. I hope he do well. But like once it got to the point where I moved up in weight and I'm in the same weight as Spence, it's just like, oh man, you ain't fighting nobody. You this, you that, you this, you that. So now they trying to blemish my accomplishment just to boost him up. I'm like, dude, you're not gonna do that. Because I can retire right now and be in the Hall of Fame. He couldn't. Everything that I've accomplished, he's still trying to accomplish. I don't want to sound like I'm hating on him. I honestly don't know if he make it to the Hall of Fame with the accolades that he didn't got right now.
And Terrence Crawford got a lot of, you know, slack for that. And I didn't think he was wrong. To be honest, I didn't think he was wrong because again, after Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence had one of the biggest welterweight fights, you know, in a while, obviously, what did Errol Spence do? Nothing. Nothing. He didn't do anything. He could have came back and tried to really go after Keith Thurman. He could have did something. He did nothing. You know, he could have fought anybody, Charlo or whatever. He did nothing. He stayed out of the game for a long time, and that just shows what happens when you do something like that. So I wasn't too mad at, you know, Terrence Crawford saying what he said back then. But even though he said that back then, if you see the video of how he, you know, reacted after the fight was done that, you know, Errol Spence had, you could hear it in his voice and you could see it on his face that he looked disappointed. He looked hurt. You know, I don't think he ever really had any beef with Earl.
Man. Just they have it. Yeah. From the jump, you can tell that his balance was off. He was reaching. You know, just they have it tonight.
You know, do you think it was a layoff? Do you think it was a combination of things? Like, what do you think?
Probably all of it.
All of it? Yeah.
He didn't take the punches well. He was slow. Like, you could just tell that Tim was more fresher.
Was it hard for you to watch?
Kind of. You know, I really wanted him to do real well. He did what he had to do to finish the fight, though.
So, you know, he was a little upset that Earl lost. He looked bothered. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, shout out to both guys. Earl, we love you, but it's that time. It is that time, man. But like I said, I want to make this video because we have a lot of boxing this weekend, and we have the crash course of Fury versus Joshua, which is obviously the next fight. Both those guys had a fight this weekend, and I know what you're saying. That wasn't promoted. It was not promoted. It wasn't promoted. This, you know, nobody really knew about it. It is what it is. You know, Fury, he went in there with a no-name guy. Joshua went in there with a no-name guy. And if I had to judge each fight, it's like, okay, who looked better and who looked worse? You know, did Fury look better being there with a guy that, again, nobody really knew, and he stopped him, but nobody knew him, and it took him 7 rounds to stop him. Or did Joshua look better or worse, being knocked down twice in the first round from, again, a no-name guy? He was knocked down twice, but then he comes back and he stops the guy in the second round. And then, he goes around the ring and, does his showmanship and blah, blah, blah. I don't know who looked better or who looked worse. Both these guys are pretty done. This fight is going to happen, Joshua and Fury. And it's obviously a money grab. It's a fight that we should have got years ago, but this is boxing. We know how boxing is. We should have got this fight years ago. We're getting it now when both guys are past their prime. Joshua still looks like, a bodybuilder, while Fury looks like a tube of toothpaste with a rubber band in the middle. Like it looks wild to me. But whatever. It is what it is. They both didn't look too great in their fight, but the job got done. They will be fighting next. And I will have to say, I don't know who wins this fight off the rip, but I would lean towards more of Fury. Joshua, over the years, his chin has just been looking worse and worse. He still throws with conviction. He's trying to hurt you and trying to stop you, but his chin is so bad. His chin is terrible. I don't know, again, who I think could win this fight. I'm leaning towards Fury, but it could go either way. I think Fury will come in and he will take this fight serious. Also, Joshua, he looks like he always takes a fight serious. He looks like, he's always in good shape. But I think the skills of Fury will prevail. But Fury also doesn't have the best chin. It's not as bad as Joshua. It's definitely not as bad as Joshua. But Fury doesn't have the best chin. I think if Joshua was to keep it simple, do some fundamentals, he could end up winning the fight if he stuck to that, and especially have, good defense. Stick with your fundamentals, throw, combinations, not too much, 3 punches, 4 punches, keep your defense tight, and try to land some significant shots early. And I think he could win that fight based off of that game plan. But it's always the chin. For me, Joshua's chin is so bad. That is the game plan that I would give him to win. But because his chin is so bad, if he gets clipped with a 1-2 from Fury, just like he got clipped in the last fight, like I said, I don't think Fury will let him off the hook. That's my opinion. You guys can tell me what you think. I don't see it. You know what I'm saying? I like Joshua. I don't have no problem with Fury, but it can go either way. But I would lean towards Fury if I was a betting man. And you should too. Because I'm not really wrong about these things. I'm usually pretty right, for the most part. But like I said, we had a lot of boxing this week, and even today, we got the Zuffa going on, fights that I do not care about, but it's happening. So if you want to watch a Zuffa fight, it should be on now or whatever this is out, whatever. But yeah. And we got to talk about one other thing. This is not boxing. It's not about boxing. It's about basketball. And you know what we're going to talk about? We are going to talk about LeBron James. Yes, we got to talk about LeBron James. LeBron James going to Philly. And I have a special guest. He's not like a star. He's a star to make it. It's my man. You know what I'm saying? That's my cousin. That's my family. That's my man. He's definitely, a huge Knicks fan. I've been on his platform a couple of times on TikTok and Instagram. So, I want to hear what he thinks about this. I know what I think about this news of LeBron going to Philly. Yeah, yeah, and you know, I just want to preface this and start off by saying I am not a LeBron hater, but I will say this before he gets here. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna put it out there, people. For anybody who sits there and says that LeBron is not a ring chaser, just put that to bed. That point is done. It is done. Stop it. I don't even want to hear it no more. I don't want to hear it no more. He is the diva of chasing after a great superstar supporting cast. He is the diva of it. Absolutely the diva. It doesn't compare to anybody else. Any of the greats, it doesn't compare. Let's stop acting like Jordan was searching for the greatest players. Did he want Rodman on his team? Yes. But in comparison, and I'm not gonna go too hard because you know my man's not here. When Jordan was on the Wizards, who was on the Wizards? Please tell me. Who's a superstar? Did he ask for superstars to join him on the Wizards so he could get one more, just one more ring? Did that happen? Did that happen? I'm going to stop here. I'm going to stop here. We're going to wait for my man to come through. Y'all already know who this is, Mr. Get That Work. I appreciate y'all.